What about now? Can you hear me now? No? Maybe? Thinking about it? It's showing. Okay. Hey, Micah. Welcome. And congrats on the house, everybody. My friend just bought himself a house. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. I hope that you got all your packing done. I know that was a bit stressful for you, but I hope you're good now. But I'm glad you made it. I hope everybody, well, except for you, little girl, has a drink. I'm going to get started. I am staying because next week will officially make a year of me doing this. Man, I'm not going to lie, it's emotional for me. This year has gone fast. I've had a lot of fun doing it. It was, you're welcome. We're going to have a drink for you. It was not what I had in my head, and I'm excited. So of course I'm staying with the bubbles because why not? It's a celebration. And I got to see Beyonce on Friday. So of course y'all know I'm happy. I've been talking about that since she announced her tour date. So I'm like really still riding the excitement of that. And when I say she put on a freaking show, my goodness. And of course, because we're in LA, we just get the best. We get the best. And that's just what it is to it. Okay. Nope. Didn't do it right. Had tons of sound. But this is it's not quite champagne because, again, it's not made in the Champagne region of France. So always remember that. It's a sparkling wine, a Prosecco, if it's not made in Champagne, France. You know what? I did silver accessories. I did black and silver because I did not get my ticket until the day of and a few hours beforehand. So trying to find silver at, let me see. I want to say 4 or 5 hours before I was supposed to be where I was supposed to be. So we could get there. Yeah, that was a struggle. And then when I pop a bottle, I want the sound. Well, that's not the right way to pop the bottle, but I mean, I get it. A lot of people do it for dramatic effect. Hey, lady, welcome. So no, I wasn't looking like, and it's so funny. I forgot which comedian was like, everybody out here looking like leftovers at Beyonce's concert. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. Why would you say that? And there was some people out there. My gosh, there were some girls who literally were like, I'm here for it. Renaissance, look at me, look at me. My goodness. Yeah, she crazy. That's why I don't listen to her. It was my, and then there were some guys. My Lord, goodness. Yeah, nobody looked like the Tin Man. Nobody looked like leftovers. Everybody looked how they were supposed to look. She looked absolutely amazing in every outfit change. And my gosh, I wanted to go again Saturday, but yeah, my body wasn't gonna allow me to be there again because my goodness, I came home partially hoarse, just a bit. I was like, okay, I lost the octave of sound, screaming, dancing, partying, and I was super hyped because if you've heard her new album, Thick, oh my god, I feel like that's my theme song, and yeah, in my head, I turn into somebody else when I hear that song. So when she actually did that song, and she did not do that at all the concerts, yeah, I nearly lost it. And my section was so whack. They were so whack. Wasn't nobody up dancing like that. They would get up on the commercial songs, and it's just like, come on now, y'all not real fans. Why are you here? But whatever. So, salute, cheers. Oh, this is good. This is really good. 12.5% alcohol. It's a blend of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Hmm. I like that. It's really good. I'm getting some hints of. I want to say pear, but it's actually really good for a brute sparkling wine. It's actually a little sweet. It's not as dry as it could be. So this would be great for a mimosa. Oh my gosh. And I still have some mango juice left. So yeah, I might. It might be like one of those Sundays where I was drinking mimosas all day. I had no water that day. That was terrible. I woke up the next day severely dehydrated too because that's all I drank was mimosas like the whole day. I'm like, this is pretty bad. So I can't do that again. Oh, but I don't think you guys heard me with my deck of cards. Well, it's two decks in here, but it's woman owned, black owned, and they're dry decks. So you know how when you playing with your friends and y'all drinking and stuff, and somebody spilled a cup or the condensation gets on the table and y'all playing cards, these cards will not get ruined. And of course, they're wine and cheese, and I thought they were pretty cool. I found them at Whole Foods, and I thought they were so cute. I was like, oh, I'm getting them. And the junior art director is a guy named DJ Bryan. He's the one that did the design for the cards. I don't know what's going on with my knee, but it's a bit annoying right now. So I'm excited. I don't know when I'm gonna play cards again, but I had to get them so that way the next party we have somebody goes, you got cards? I could be like, bam. So I'm gonna be ready, and anybody gonna mess up my cards? I could just dry them off. But thanks for joining me. I'm really excited. Of course, I'm gonna do more next week. I'm like really excited, and still, like I said, riding this Beyonce wave. But I'm gonna jump into it. I had some friends when I sent out the link for the live tonight that were like, "Oh, this would be an interesting topic," and I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, but was trying to figure out the approach because I feel like religion is just like politics, is a very touchy subject. People get really sensitive about it. And with me growing up in private school, mainly Christian school, Catholic school, it has been very eye opening. And the way I was raised as well, I was raised in church. So I was in church all the time. So growing up and being, growing into the woman that I am now, it's one of those where I look at things from a different perspective. I'm not saying that I don't believe, I don't like to insult people either. And I think that's one of the things that pisses off people in my family when I say that. And I'm like, you're worse than I am. You're judging me for saying, feeling how I feel and saying I don't want to insult people. But I think it's more insulting to just be like, oh no, Christian way is the right way, blah, 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 you know? And I feel like that's more insulting than respecting that there is more out there than just being a Christian. So I am very accepting of anybody. I went to Catholic school, I went to Christian school, and I was able to see a difference. Um, I almost converted to Catholicism because it was a really stupid reason, but I almost converted to Catholicism and I didn't, of course, but still. So, we're going into being religious or spiritual, and I'm still on the fence on whether, because I do still believe, in certain things. I do believe that, you're supposed to be a good person. And I feel like with church as well, I don't personally go every week. I don't feel like there's a necessity for me to go because I feel like everybody knows right from wrong. I feel like, you know, you can still um, serve whatever your God is without having to go to a building, things like that. And that's just my opinion on it. However, there are some people who do not feel like uh, not being religious is the right thing. And I don't agree with that because people are entitled to feel how they want to feel. So here we go. Religion, by definition, is a personal set or institutionalized system. Emphasis on the institutionalized by religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices, the service and worship of God or the supernatural. Spirituality, on the other hand, connotates the experience of connection to something larger than you, living everyday life as a reverent and sacred manner. Spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose in the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, natures, and the significant or sacred. So when you think about the two definitions of it, I'm not sure that, I think that's where my breakdown is. I don't really believe in the whole, I gotta go. I don't know. I try not to be disrespectful, to other people's beliefs either. But I don't feel like I have to go, join a group to have my own faith, my own beliefs, things like that. Uh, Religions are most often based on the lives, teachings, and beliefs of a historical figure. For example, Christ, Buddha, Moses, Muhammad, etc. The details of their lives as holy or highly evolved beings have been carried to us across the mist of the time through oral tradition and written scriptures. These figures are the subject of worship and devotion and form the foundation of religious practices and rituals in a community. Spirituality, by contrast, is more often based on the practical application of the founders' teachings. Spiritual aspirants heed the advice of Japanese poet Matsuo Basho. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, feel free to correct me. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. They seek what they sought. There are so many people that, like to, I guess, go against, I can't even say other, I feel like, and growing up, this is what my experience has been. Most of the time, it's Christians that feel like the other religions aren't you know what you should be worshiping, things like that. And that word worship kind of bothers me. It's just like I don't know how to describe it, but it's one of those where it's just like you want to talk about people who, I guess, as they say, idolize, say for instance, the superstar, how I am with Beyonce. They will say that is a pagan source. You're worshiping this woman, but you worship God. So what is the difference between someone liking, this person and you liking, your God? I mean, you don't know. Maybe she is making people better because of, her music, what she's saying, you don't know. But I'm not saying that's what I do. However, there are people that feel like that. Like I saw so many people at the concert that were like, oh my God, this was life changing. They were crying, things like that. So you can't really knock how people feel. And sometimes it's not about worshiping that person. Maybe that person's purpose was to help people change, be a better person. So it's like sometimes Christians could be a bit judgy, in my opinion. As far as an objective versus a subjective experience, religion, on the whole, a formal religion, is an objective experience. In other words, there's usually greater focus on the externals, houses of worship, churches, books or scripture, external rituals, and observances. And the equivalent of the referral in which your attention is placed upon the objects in your experience. Spirituality leans more towards self referral or the internalization of awareness in your soul. Spirituality is an inward journey that involves a shift in awareness rather than some form of external activity, such as inner understanding, then outer worship. This is not to say worship isn't a part of spirituality. It's a matter of where the devotion and worship are directed to an external practice, object or figurehead, to your soul, higher self, or divine within. I'm not going to say I got into an argument, but I had a relative argue me down once because I said I believe I'm more spiritual than religious. Not saying I don't believe that there is a God, because there is clearly a higher power. I mean, there are many things that I've gone through where it's like, okay. However, there are times where I'm like, well, why would God do that? And I'm not going to say I have not questioned God. I have not said, okay, well, if there is a God, then why would God let this happen? You know, like when babies and kids are going through things, but it's like, why would God do this? Why would God let this happen to me? And then once I came towards more of a spiritual aspect, it's like, well, why not me? What makes me feel like I am just so much better than somebody else that it shouldn't happen to me? And when I I was telling my therapist that, it's like, well, why me? And when I was telling her, I said, I really had to dig deep, Girl, you on some other stuff right now. Look at you. I was telling her, I said, when I really thought about it, it was like, but why not me? Why shouldn't I have to go through that? And maybe that experience happened to teach me something, make me better, make me stronger in some way that I don't have the eyes to see in that moment. It kind of changed for me a little bit. And it's not that I still don't question God, because it's just like, okay, but I still have those moments. So it's like, I'm not sure if I'm more religious or spiritual. And then when I think about, that whole aspect of people in church, like I don't know if this happens in all religions, but I know in church, like Christian churches, they always talk about catching the Holy Ghost. Well, if that's the Holy Spirit, like, I don't know, I guess there's still a lot I just don't understand. And, I've seen people catch the Holy Spirit and you're just like, okay, is this an act? What's going on? It makes you question them even more. You even think about, and you can look it up. There was this whole incident. It was Jim Jones. And this guy he was something else. He basically started his own church in, I'm going to look it up right now, in Jonestown. And he had this whole massacre there. I got obsessed with the History Channel a while ago. Well, my older two were like really young. I got obsessed with the History Channel. And when I say I was watching it every day, I watched everything. So I knew how the states were made, things like that. But when they showed this story, it brought me to tears because he had this really large following. And these people came to his temple between, it says 1955 and 1978. And these people, they were worshiping every word that he said. And it felt a bit cultish the way that things went about it. And he pretty much had this mass suicide where he was telling them if they wanted to be closer to God, things like that, they had to drink this juice. And in the juice, it was, I believe, cyanide was what killed him. And they were all drinking this juice. I mean, from the adults to the kids, like the parents were giving it to their kids as well. And they all died. Like, this was one of the worst situations that has happened religiously. And when you think about, okay, if this is supposed to be the leader, he's supposed to be teaching, the word of God. Why would you lead people that way? These people are following you. They're looking to you to guide them, and you pretty much deceive them into this. So we'll never know what the real meaning behind why he did. I mean, he died there too that day, and um it was just a crazy situation. It was like after he had all those people drink the juice, he shot himself in the head. Like, oh, you didn't want to go out the same way they went out. You had all these people, and it was a sad situation. But after seeing that, it made me question God even more. Like, if this is supposed to be the man that's supposed to be leading people and bringing them closer to you, why? I mean, and I've got many different situations that have had me pull back away from religion, or organized religion, I should say. I do have my own faith. I do pray. I'm not going to say that I don't. I do pray. However, I don't know. And that's, one of the things that really had me. And I, like I said, I have conversations with people about it, and I know I make some people uncomfortable with it, and that's okay, because guess what? You can't have good conversation sometime without somebody being uncomfortable. But it's definitely one of those where you kind of look at people and you think, okay, so was this person that good of, good with their words that they convinced you to do what you did, or did they make you weak joining this organized religion? So that's just one of the things. And then I just recently started watching this show Greenleaf. I don't know how long it's been out, but it's like 5 seasons on Netflix. And it kind of took me back to when I was going to church as, a young girl, and the things that you would see in there. I mean, I've got some stories. Lord help me. I got some stories going to Christian school. I done seen some things, and I feel like private school kids are the worst. The things they do, the things they talk about, the way that they act, literally the worst. Like, kids that are in church all the time, preachers' kids are definitely the worst. However, it's one of those where you're just like, dang. And watching this show has really had me like, yeah, it's more corruption that goes on in religion than it does outside. And I know some people that have seen some things themselves, and they've told me their experiences. But for me, I think that's why I kind of pull away a little bit from it. But it is what it is. And the last thing it says on here is organized versus formless. And you guys chime in as well, because my goodness, if I'm insulting anyone, tell me, it's okay. But no, okay, so I did have this one situation. Oh my, and that's what made me laugh. I was talking about, I said, if I were to ever have an actual wedding, I would not do it in a church. I said, for one, I don't have all Christian friends, and I don't want to be insulting to anyone that's coming to celebrate me. And my relative was just like, well, that's insulting to God. And I said, but why is that? They're like, if you believe, you're supposed to believe all the time, and you're not supposed to be oh my goodness, what was the word that she used to describe oh man, it was something to the effect, oh my gosh, I can't remember what she used. Embarrassed. And it was just like, I'm not embarrassed. I never said I was embarrassed. I said I don't want to insult my friends, family who are of other religions. I know people who are Catholic. I've got a very huge, friend circle of Catholics, and I would definitely not want to offend anyone. If what you believe in is what you believe in, I've got a friend that's an atheist, and back then when I was more my Christian, I'm, a devout Christian, I was a little judgmental. Well, it wasn't a little. I was a lot judgmental. And it was in that time, me not being open minded and understanding because I feel like I was brainwashed. Um, that's when I would see, certain things for what it was. It was just like, okay, who am I to try and talk to somebody about how my religion is better than yours? It just didn't make sense. And, it's like I said, well, I've got friends who are Christian. I've got friends who, you know, they're Muslim. I have friends who are Jewish. I said, why would I want to put anybody in a situation where they're going to be uncomfortable celebrating me or not come because that's not what they believe in? So that turned into a whole thing with her feeling like I was embarrassed of God, ashamed were her words. And she was very upset with me over that. And I don't think I've ever gotten over that and having that conversation because it was just like, you are being very, very judgmental of your own. And you are probably one of the reasons why some people are not Christians. Like I said, I had this atheist friend and it was just pretty interesting to, hear their understanding on why they were an atheist because I didn't get it because it was just like, oh, you think atheist and you think if you're a Christian, devil worshiper. And it's not the case. So when they were, talking to me about their, belief and their lifestyle, whatnot, I was very open to the conversation. Very open to the conversation. But at the same time, even with the way that I would dress, the way that I would talk, it was Christian based. And I don't know if I ever felt comfortable living like that. So, but I mean, one day I'm going to know exactly what I am. But until then, I will keep going through life and just being a good person because guess what? Whether you are religious or not, whoever you serve knows your heart. And wherever you're going to go in the afterlife or whatever you believe in is just going to be what it is. So you just got to practice being a good person. And only whoever your higher being is determines if you were a good person or not. But one of the hallmarks of religion is organization. It's structured, rule-based, and it governs the behavior of its members, moral rules, laws, and doctrines, as well as specific codes and criteria. Uh, that's another thing. Um, she said, I felt uncomfortable when we went to that one church and everyone looked at me crazy for wearing jeans. And that, that's a very good point because the Bible says, come as you are. So if I'm wearing jeans or, say for instance, maybe I just came from going somewhere and that was what I had to wear. Maybe I don't own any clothes that are completely covered up. You're going to look at me and make me feel uncomfortable coming into your place of worship because that is not what you believe in. I remember when I was pregnant with my youngest and we had gone to church. Mind you, my dress was nice. It went down to my knees. Only problem is it was a little low cut. Mind you, I'm pregnant. So the boobs were boobing. However, I was looked at like I was freaking Jezebel. And it did make me feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel welcomed and people were looking at me like, and it didn't help the fact that I'm, pregnant, unmarried, which I'm not against at all. I was comfortable, but why are you? So now you're judging me based on that. So is that being a good person? Are you being, how Christ would want you to be? So I think that had a lot to do with me, really pulling away from organized religion, things like that. So, I mean, like I said, everybody has their own experience and it does, I feel like not, and I feel like Christians are the only people who really will fight you over certain things. Like I've got, like I said, I've got Catholic friends. I don't argue with them over anything. They don't judge anything. They're not saying, oh yeah, 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 blah 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 blah. And even with say, of course they all say, no, heathens, a whole family of them. Shut up. And that's fine. Cheers to heathens. I'm gonna be canceled for this. But it's definitely one of those where it's just like, okay, come as you are. Like I've got a friend, I don't know how to describe it. So they're a couple, they're our friends, and they accept us for who we are. They may not agree with, everything that we do, but they accept it. Well, I shouldn't say they don't agree. They may try and be like, well, you guys, come and do this or do that. And it's just like, okay, but they accept us for who they are. They know we're going to listen to secular music. They know me, I'm going to drink. I talk about wine all the time. When I was pregnant with my youngest, I was drinking water out of wine glasses because I missed wine a little bit. So, it was just a lot of different things. However, they don't judge us for being who we are. We've never swayed from who we are with them. And it's just like, okay, I mean, that's who they want to be. That's who they can be. It's no, anything against them. It's no, nothing against us. And I feel like that's what good Christians are supposed to do. So if more Christians were like that, I feel like more people would be, towards religion. But because there are so many different variables of negativity that are surrounded by it, it does turn people off against, organized religion. So I don't know, I guess if I had to decide right now, I would probably say I am more spiritual than religious. But hey, it is what it is. And this is some good wine, y'all. My goodness, I'm going to definitely make me a mimosa tonight. And I know I got some of y'all over here being real quiet. Well, Micah, I know you moving. So you probably not saying nothing. Lady, I know you're Catholic. I want to hear from you how you feel about the situation. I don't know who else is on, but I want to hear your comments. And Beyonce believes in God, and Lord help me, y'all should have seen how she was dressed. Amazing. Definitely got to get on working out. My goodness. Yeah, I got to get on it because my gosh, she looks absolutely amazing. And I want to feel a little more comfortable in my clothing while I'm being a Jezebel. It's just funny. I've got story after story after story. I was telling one of my aunts, and seeing that's okay if that's what you believe in. I've got a cousin who, I kid you not, she puts on her Facebook getting ready to meditate, and we had another cousin comment on her post. No, don't do that, cousin. You need to pray. And I just laughed at his comment, and I'm just like, who are you to tell her what she needs to do when she knows what's best for herself? And the fact that because I was like, okay, let me see what she does before I go and insert myself into her situation. And if there's a God, I don't think it's a person. I feel like we believe it's a person because we need to believe a higher power looks like us. You might be right. You might be right. I mean, because we don't know. We don't know who wrote the Bible. And I know I'm going to get some flack for that. We don't know who wrote the Bible. Definitely was, man written. But since we don't know, and I don't knock anybody that wants to believe what they want to believe or feel how they want to feel at all, because we all need something to give us that peace. And I think I lost a lot of faith when I had my biggest prayer go unanswered. And it wasn't about money, it wasn't about things. It was about my favorite human being on earth being here. And that was when I lost a lot of my faith, because it was just like, well, if you're praying, you're supposed to, give it to God, is what people tell you. And you pray and you pray and you pray and you give it to God, and it still is not enough. And I think when I lost that person, that's when a lot of my faith in in that just kind of disappeared. So yeah, it's definitely a big one. But if I'm gonna have to say tonight, I'm gonna go with I'm a little more spiritual than religious. I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up before I start getting all emotional on here. But yes, join me next week. Next week, I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. It'll be a year. Yeah, my daughter is losing her mind over Drake right now, and I think that is the funniest thing ever. I mean, not funny in a ha ha. It's just the way I wanted to go see Beyonce is how she apparently wanted to go see Drake, and it's just not working out in her favor for her. And the poor thing is just losing her mind. But I'm gonna say this: them damn resellers, they know they ain't shit, and that's who it is. It's the resellers, because they get to the tickets before everybody else does, and then they jack up the prices, and then it's like, now I gotta pay triple because of you. But whatever. But Beyonce did. It's not. I'm not saying it's funny, haha. But Beyonce did have it where the price that you paid for your ticket, when you resold it, that's the price that you had to sell it for. You couldn't sell it for more. She was very strict about that. It was a clause in her contract with Ticketmaster, the box office, things like that. There was no upsell. The price you pay is the price you can get paid back. That's it. You're not getting more, because she wanted people. You just want to see Drizzy. I cannot with this girl. Hey, I saw my girl. I did all that talking. I was adamant about going. What's the word I'm looking for? I manifested that. Because I knew I was going. In my head, I'm like, I don't care at this point. I'm going. But I will see everybody next week. And I hope you guys have a good rest of this week. And next week's going to be a little special. Hi, Adia. No, she was amazing. She was, oh my gosh, absolutely amazing. She was worth every bit of the anxiousness, all of that. We were in, oh my God, we was up in there like early too, because we wasn't trying to miss nothing. We wanted to absorb every bit. We wanted to breathe all the air that was going on in there. And when I say the energy, oh my gosh, the energy in there was absolutely electrifying. I mean, because when I got to my seat, I sat down. I was like, okay, I'm just waiting. Now I'm anxious. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, I just needed to start already because I'm just so excited. And then it was rumors going around that DJ Khaled was going to be there opening. And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. You know, I seen him at her last tour with Jay-Z, and I was like, okay, he was cool. When he brought out 2 Chainz, oh my gosh. Now, if anybody knows me, they know I love me some 2 Chainz. That man, he don't know he my homeboy, but he my homeboy. And when he came out, I nearly lost it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got 2 Chainz here at the Beyonce concert. I got killed 2 birds, 1 stone. And I was hyped. We had uh oh my gosh, what is his name? Dia help me. Homeboy that came out after 2 Chainz. He kind of brought down the energy a little bit. We had Coi Leray, Roddy Ricch, Lil Wayne. Let's not forget him. Who else came out? Offset. We had I mean, but it's LA. Oh my gosh, people on TikTok are losing their minds. They like, oh my gosh, she did all that in LA. We are freaking Los Angeles. How are you even mad? How are you mad? It's LA. This is where she lives. This is her home now. What did you think was about to happen? And it's her birthday weekend? Come on now. Y'all knew she was about to show out. I haven't been to a concert. Wiz Khalifa, yeah. I mean, he's got cool songs, I guess. I'm not a really fan of him, but he brought down the energy. He brought down the energy a little bit to me. That's when I sat down. After that, I was up the whole night. Like, I didn't sit down. I didn't sit down. And I didn't hurt. I felt fine. I was a little sleepy the next day, but well, ain't no little. I was a lot of sleepy. But no, I definitely had a ball and contemplating going to Houston to go see her again. I'm like, because I already know it's Houston. It's her hometown. She is about to show out. Like, but we gonna see if I can get to Houston for one night and go see Beyonce, do a quick turnaround. It's a wrap. My baby's talking about she having some withdrawals because she ain't been to a concert in almost a year. Girl, that's not bad. That's not bad. Now I will admit, I got to see Anderson .Paak just on some random stuff. And my hype, the level of excited I was. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a really good concert year. I'm going to go see Victoria Monet yesterday. And if y'all have not heard her new album, go listen to it tonight. Don't let tomorrow come and you listen to it tonight. Just put it on. It flows effortlessly. But all right, my goodness, that brings out a whole nother. It's almost like listening to Beyonce's Thick. My goodness, like the level of sassy, the energy it brings out of me. I'm like, okay, I love it. Love it. I'm here for it. I want it. So yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited. Next week, oh my gosh, I just want y'all to know I'm like way too excited. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep much. Well, I really don't sleep anyway lately. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I think I'm gonna make me a mimosa after this. I don't think I ate enough. I'm gonna snack on something though. J. Cole was 2 years ago. My kid is losing her mind, y'all. Well, come to Houston with me. We can go see Beyonce. Or come to LA and go see Victoria Monet with me. But I'm really excited. Oh my gosh. She's so dramatic. She's so dramatic. I'm about to end this live now and get myself ready for tomorrow because still got to work. But thank you for joining me. Again, I hope you have a great rest of your week and just think, are you religious because that's how you were raised? Is it really what you believe? Is it serving your life the way that you want it? Are you spiritual because that's how you were raised? I mean, a lot of it too, it's all about your upbringing, but definitely think about what fits you. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about it and just live and enjoy life and be a good person. Be a good person. I think that's the best thing of all. Just be a good person. But I'll see you next week. Good night.